Let us not forget everything that happens. It's by the will of Allah. Holy will. It's time to unite and stand, and we will be the best amongst men. It's not time to be extreme or duty unthinkable, but to stand together as one. Tune into Sunnah followers, streaming every day, various platforms. Trust me, you'll find a way. Sunnah followers.
Assalamu alaikum. Please mark your calendars. Starting this Friday, March 1st, we will be replacing the 6 p.m. Eastern Aqidah class, Al-Wala Wal-Bara class, with a special program for the month of Ramadan. Please join Ustada Layla Nashiba for the first 7 days of Ramadan with a preparation course. Allow her to walk you every day after that with the fiqh of fasting. Don't forget, mark your calendars, and we're streaming it right here on Sunnahfollowers.
Excuse me. Ina alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam Allah, wa rasulallah. Alhamdulillah, I made it on time today as far as waking up. Let's see if I can keep the GERD under control. That's going to be my struggle for the next 50 minutes. Okay, so welcome everybody to the 22nd day of Ramadan for the year 2024. Ramadan's almost over. Inshallah, everyone should feel closer to Allah. We are in these last 10 days of Ramadan. I hope everybody is sticking to whatever plan of action you have put in effect for today. You carry on with your regular obligations, responsibilities. Continue to refrain from bad behavior, refrain from bad speech. For the sisters who are on their menses, you know, your menses is a blessing for you. Allah gave you a break away from praying, a break away from fasting, but you continue to refrain your tongue. You continue to refrain your actions, and also carry on doing good deeds. For those sisters in menses too, you continue to do good deeds and make dua. You can supplicate on your menses. Ask Allah to forgive you for all your past sins. Ask Allah to give you the ability to accept whatever His decree may be for you in your life. And ask Allah to give you the ability to comprehend and understand that there is no power, there is no might other than Him. Ameen. That's the dua. See how I just made that dua up? Although that's the supplication I say. By the way, that's the supplication I say every day. Okay? You can make your own supplications up in whatever language you speak. That was English. Okay? Because Allah gave you your language. You had nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. The angels of the throne, they glorify and praise Allah in every language known by man, and language is not even known by man. Hello, because language comes from Allah. So all that stuff about Arabic being the language of paradise, all that's racism. That's just racism, tribalism. You know, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us of that. He said that we'll go back to being racist. We'll go back to being tribal. We'll go back to thinking that arrogance and superiority. You know, all that crap about Arabic as a language of paradise. Who said that? Who told you that? And even if it were, who told you that? Prove it. Remember, as Muslims, we are the prove it people. We are people of dalil. We don't just speak like the Christians do, like the Jews do, like the unbelievers do. We just don't talk. Everything that we say is backed up. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Oh, yeah. I told you guys that during these last 10 days, I would speak about the rules of Itikaf. The rules of Itikaf. Itikaf is when you seclude yourself into the mosque. Excuse me. I'm going to go over those rules, the rules of Itikaf with everyone. And also, I'm going to end my lecture with, of course, I always give dalil for everything I teach. That's why I use PowerPoint. Okay. But I received an email from one of my new shahadas. They should know to leave her alone. Sister Sandra. I'm so proud of you, Sandra. And remember, I told you guys, it's during the 3rd week of Ramadan, you'll start to see the blessings come to you from Allah. Well, Sister Sandra, our new shahada, she's hitting it. Boy, she quit smoking and all of that. She feel good. She says she went to the mosque and then she found a community that she felt was decent for her to be a part of. Walked through the door. What was she confronted with? She said, Sister Layla, you tell the truth, man. She put that brother in check about the marriage being 50% of your deen. She put that brother in check. Then she went to the mosque for the iftar. Y'all heard, she told us this for my Q&A. She had to check a brother again. She had to check a brother again. Okay. Well, she went for the Taraweeh and iftar yesterday. And one of the brothers told her, you new shahada. You know, she's a new shahada. You know, all these brothers. And by the way, sisters, like I told Sandra, which is what she's done, but they ain't got nobody. When you sisters, the person that should be teaching you your religion is another woman. When you go to these masajids, go to these mosques as a new shahada, these brothers are always running up in your face with all this. Tell them, excuse me, can you direct me to a woman who can show me how to pray? You know, we don't need a man for any. First of all, like Sandra said, she told the brother at her mosque, I got a teacher. She said, my teacher is Layla Nashiba. And if you got any questions, she said, Layla Nashiba said, feel free to contact her. And she said, the brother rolled his eyes and walked away. He know, that's it. You're out, Trump. Jump back. Leave my new shahadas alone. They're not looking for a scrub. They're not looking for a rub dub. All they need is to come in there and reap the reward. All they looking for is to be around other Muslims so they can break their fast together and meet other sisters that they can be close to, because we're going to get back to that after Ramadan, guys. I'm going back to Wala wa Better. You know, it's hard to maintain your faith when you're living in a non-Islamic environment. So the only reason that you new sisters should be going to the mosque is to hook up with other women who are strong in their practice, who you can be friends with. And that's what Sandra said. She told the brother, my teacher is Layla Nashiba. She said, and Layla Nashiba already told me what I need to know about this. She said, I'm here to break fast and mingle with the women to meet other sisters. So direct me to the sisters area. The brother rolled his eyes at her and bounced back. He was the imam of the mosque. He rolled his eyes and went on about his business. Oh, yeah. I told her, y'all tell him that. They'll leave you alone. But anyway, she said she went yesterday and she was, eating with so she met a couple of sisters here. And by the way, I want to give salam to Sister Mariam. May Allah bless you for taking Sister Sandra under your wing. MashaAllah, Mariam, she's met a sister for iftar who comes to my classes. Sister Mariam, and I remember you, Mariam, from a long time ago. She said, Mariam said, oh, I know Sister Layla. I used to join her classes years ago Well, welcome back, Sister Mariam, and thank you for taking Sandra under your wing. She's come a long way. I mean, she kicked the habit of smoking. I mean, she's in her fitra is strong right now. She's ready to roll. You know, she wants to learn. She's like a sponge. She wants to soak up the knowledge. So anyway, she was doing iftar, and the conversation came up. The sisters were talking about itikaf, and one of the sisters said, well, you know, as women, we can do itikaf in our home. That came up. And so Sandra, you know, her fitra is strong. She said, no, that's not correct. We can't do itikaf in our home. She said, we get more blessings praying at home, but itikaf has to be at the mosque. And they say the other sister said, no, that's not true. Who told you that? And she told Layla Nashiba. Well, Layla Nashiba wrong. You know, I'm going to go get the imam. The imam can tell you that. And whoever this imam is, which I ain't going to mention his name, I know him. He told her Layla's wrong. Itikaf, a woman can do itikaf in her home. Well, y'all know me. I'm like a mother hen over her chickens when it comes to my students. I don't like people trying to confuse and mix up my students. And don't ever challenge me. Because when you challenge me, I'm going to bring it. And when I bring it, you're going to be standing there looking so foolish that you'll just disappear in smoke. So it was part of my curricula for today to speak about itikaf anyway. But I'm going to also, this is for the imams out there. The imams out there who are telling women to do itikaf in their house, I'm getting ready to bring it. All right. Okay, so put me on the big screen TV, sisters. I want the children to take notes. We're going to go over the rules of itikaf. And also for the adults, the parents, please screenshot me with your cell phone because I want all these PowerPoints printed out. Print these PowerPoints out on your phone so that you can keep it. So if ever somebody tells you that a woman can do itikaf at the mosque, you got your dalil. You ain't just got to say Layla Nashiba said it. You can also say the prophet said this, Aisha said that, and this is what Ibn Abbas said. Hello, take that other stuff on. So put me on the big screen, keeping it real. This one's for you, Imam, and you know who you are. I warned you. I told you to leave Sandra alone. She told you that I was her teacher. She told you she wasn't look that marriage ain't 50% of her deen. She understands that hadith. So now, get ready to enjoy your egg sandwich, Imam. You know who you are. By the way, he's Arabic. He's not the hood Imam. He's an Arab brother. All that Arabic is not going to save you from the hellfire. The only thing that's going to save us from the hellfire, guys, is our aqidah. And when we speak about this deen, we need to take it back to the companions. You don't give people fatwas, okay? You take it back to what the companions had to say, the originals. Watch the Vampire Diaries. The originals. Take it to what the originals had to say. Not the third generation. The third generation does not out-trump the originals. This is for the imams out there. He know who he is. Okay? The third generation companions do not out-trump the originals, brother. Did you learn that? Allah says in the Quran, no one understands this religion better than the originals. They are the best of this nation. You speak Arabic. You don't know that? Well, let me, your sister, your Egyptian sister, re-educate you. So take notes. All right. All right. So let's put the PowerPoint up. You got to be rough and tough. You got to be rough and tough as a female dyer, because these brothers think that because you're a woman, you don't know nothing. And, you know, Aisha radiallahu anha went through the same thing. So this ain't nothing new. By the way, sisters, history just repeats itself. This is what Aisha radiallahu anha had to go through too. She tried to correct these brothers on stuff, you know. That's why Umar, when Umar radiallahu anhu became the caliph, he got sick of it. He said, I tell you what, from now on, any questions about women's issues, any questions about marriage, any questions about that will be referred to Aisha radiallahu anha. Umar got sick of it too. Hello, Walalayla Nashiba, you know, just because we women don't mean that we're inferior. We're more intelligent than you are. Did you know that you just supersede us in physical strength, but we supersede you in intelligence and wit and charisma? Don't you men know that? Well, get educated right now. Okay, so let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen. Sister Sandra, Miriam, yeah, Mariam says she's glad to be back. Make sure you join the Zoom room, Mariam. Yeah, y'all can see what happens behind the scenes if y'all join the Zoom room. Okay, let me put this up, and then I'm gonna share my screen. Hold on here. Start with the shahadas. I mean the here we go. Y'all look at the moon. This is my Zoom room, people. Yeah. I mean, I said shahadas. Yeah, I'm a mother hen when it comes to my shahadas. Don't mess with them. We worked hard all Ramadan. You know how hard it was for me to get these sisters to understand La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. And now you brothers, because you speak Arabic, you think you're going to come around and take them backwards? Probably a Sufi mosque. You know, the Sufis are the ones with all that women and, you know, itikaf in the house stuff. But anyway, look at my screen, everybody. Inshallah. And let me make it bigger, larger. Okay, tonight, what I'm going to do is go over the rules of Itikaf. Okay? The rules of Itikaf. And we're in the last 10 days. All right, let's start it off. What is Itikaf? What does it mean in English? If I were to translate this Arabic term into English, it refers to secluding yourself, staying in the mosque with the intention of becoming closer to Allah. And this was the practice of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam during the last 10 days of Ramadan. I want all the brothers that's listening, the young boys that are listening, to pay attention. Pay attention. This is something that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam did during the last 10 days. Where's my dalil? Y'all know I'm going to always use the scholar, Aisha radiallahu anha. Aisha tells us that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to practice itikaf in the last 10 days of Ramadan. In fact, he used to say, look for the night of decree. That's the night of Qadr. Qadr means decree. Don't forget it. Look for the night of Qadr in the last 10 nights of the month of Ramadan. Okay, there's the source, Bukhari. Aisha says that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam did this. He did itikaf in the mosque during the last 10 days of Ramadan until he died. And then after he died, she and the rest of his wives used to do it every Ramadan too, after he died in the mosque. Okay, that's very important. We're going to get back to this hadith at the end when I put my egg on you. Okay. Also, we have another authentic hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and I want you brothers to pay attention. This is speaking about the rewards of it. He said, whoever makes itikaf with me is to make it during the last 10 nights. And this is important because there are some brothers who say that, they make itikaf during the beginning of the Ramadan. I don't know what Sufi group it is, but there's some group out there that does itikaf during the first 10 days and the last 10 days. Well, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did it during the last 10 days, not the first 10 days. And this is the evidence. This is from Bukhari. Whoever makes itikaf with me is to make it during the last 10 nights, not the first 10. So I'm not into these different sets, but that's something that you brothers can ask Dr. Jamali about. Which one? You're at some type of Sufi mosque maybe, or some Shiite mosque. I don't know. But itikaf is, the Prophet didn't do it the first 10 nights. He did it the last 10. And here's your dalil. This is for the brothers. Okay? When it comes to performing itikaf, because all itikaf means is I'm going to stay at the mosque. I'm going to stay at the mosque. The following should be noted. Number one, there is no specific time limit. What does that mean? That means you don't have to do the whole 10 days. You can go and do itikaf for 1 hour. And this is something that I encourage the brothers to do with the boys. Like my little boy, Yusuf, Shuaib, my little Sunnah follower kids. They're old enough. You can take them to do itikaf for just a couple of hours so they can see what it's like. It doesn't have to be the whole 10 days. It could be for an hour. It could be for a half hour. So try to train your boys who are over the age of 7, train them to do itikaf at the mosque. Take them just for an hour and have them sit there and read Quran for an hour, or have them sit there and listen to a lecture for an hour, because it's no specific time limit. Okay. Also, itikaf can be fulfilled by staying in the mosque with the intention for a short or long time. So again, for you sisters who want to do itikaf, you got children. You can't leave your children for no 10 days. But say, for example, like Sandra, you're like Sandra wants to do itikaf because she wants to see what it's like. Okay. So she's going to do it for 1 day. She's going to take her children to stay with her mother, and she's going to just do itikaf for 1 night just to see what it's like. So you sisters can do that. You can go to the mosque and do itikaf for just 1 night. It doesn't have to be the whole 10 or 2 nights, or just to do it for the weekend. Okay. And also the reward of itikaf will be according to how long you stay in the mosque. And again, notice everything here is saying mosque. I'm telling you mosque. I'm going to slap it to you at the end. Y'all know I always leave the icing for last. But the reward you get for doing itikaf is according to how long you're going to be at the mosque. It could be an hour, 2 hours, 15 minutes, of seclusion, a day. However long you stay there, that will be your reward. So again, for the sisters with children, you don't have to do the whole 10 days. If you just want to spend 1 night at the mosque, go ahead, take the kids to their grandmother's house, and you can do it for 1 night. Remember this, if you leave the mosque, that's what breaks your itikaf. You have to stay there. So what does that mean? This is a question that one of the brothers asked, Sister Layla, if I do itikaf, can I go to work? No. That's the whole purpose of itikaf, is to get away from your job and children and distractions of life. Excuse me. Okay. If you leave the mosque for any a reason like going to work, that breaks it. And when you return, you're going to have to renew your intention. So if you are a brother that's doing itikaf and say you got to be at work in the morning, you have to renew your intention when you come back. Everybody understand that? Because that's what will break the itikaf. Okay? Is that clear? Take a screenshot. All right. And again, I'm emphasizing this. If whoever's doing itikaf for Ramadan, you can end your seclusion at any time. Like I said, it doesn't have to be the whole 10 days. Where's my dalil? Aisha, radiallahu anha, tells us that if the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, intended to make itikaf, he would pray the morning prayer and begin it. Now, this is another, I put this hadith here because one of the brothers told me that he was told that you have to do go into itikaf at Maghrib. And so he wanted to know, did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam begin his itikaf at Maghrib? No, he began it at Fajr. The Prophet did not do his itikaf at Maghrib. If he intended to do itikaf, he would pray the Fajr prayer and then go into the mosque. So not Maghrib. And we got this authentic hadith. One time the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted to make itikaf during the last 10 days of Ramadan, and he ordered that his tent be set up. And Aisha said when she saw him setting up his tent inside the mosque, she ordered that her tent be set up in the mosque too. And then the other wives of the Prophet did the same thing. And when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed the Fajr prayer, he saw all the tents. He said, what the heck is this? And they said, we are seeking obedience to Allah and his messenger. In other words, we're just doing what you're doing. So that's the dalil that he did it at Fajr. Okay, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not begin his itikaf at Maghrib. He began his at Fajr, after Fajr. And this happened when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had swore an oath because he was so angry. This was the incident of Maria. Y'all remember I did the heroines of Islam. This is when he had Maria in Hafsa's house. And Hafsa went and told Aisha. That's when that big fitna happened. And the Prophet got angry and swore that he wouldn't go near any of his wives, for a month. So the wives were scared. They thought he was going to divorce them. He went into itikaf at the mosque to be away from his wives. And when he saw that they followed him there and put their tents up, he said, here we go. So he took his tent down. Okay. And he delayed his itikaf till the first 10 days of Shawwal. But this was because he was angry, at his wives, because of the fitna that Hafsa and Aisha created with Maria. Oh yeah, them wives they used to fight and do all kind of crazy stuff. All right. So, but she spoke about this to show that even then his itikaf was at Fajr, not Maghrib. Okay. And what's the source? Bukhari. Okay. So that brings us to the question. Excuse me. And by the way, let me know if it's time for me to break fast. Boy, it's getting hard to talk. For people live in Cleveland. Only people in Cleveland. I'm on a different time than the rest of y'all. Okay, so this brings us to the question that people ask, how should we spend our time? Say, for example, the sisters here, you want to do one night. You want to do one night in itikaf. Or say you want to do 5 hours just to see what it's like. You want to take your daughters to the mosque and you and your daughters do itikaf for just 5 hours. Or say you a brother trying to train your sons. So you got your 7-year-old staying there for 2 hours. How should we spend our time? What should we do? Here's the question. How do you spend your time in itikaf at the mosque? Doing voluntary actions of worship. Voluntary actions of worship. It's not a pajama party. We're not sitting there eating and drinking and having a party. You're going to go away and sit in a corner to yourself If your mosque is able to have a tent put up in it, put a little tent up. Get you one of them little tents that we have. Set your little tent up. You go inside your tent and you read the Quran. Or you do voluntary prayers. Make lots of supplications. Asking for forgiveness of your sins. Sending blessings upon the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, you can listen to my classes. I got some brothers here right now, guys, believe it or not. Oh, yeah. I got more brothers that follow me than women. There are brothers in the mosque right now doing itikaf listening to me. Some of them have me on their big screen TV in the mosque. And there are some brothers who are alone with their cell phone listening, and they have the thing plugged in their ear. The thing is, you don't want to distract the other people. So make sure you have your headset on, so it's not to distract other people. Okay. And again, it's preferred to set up a small tent if you're able to. So that way you can go in that tent and be alone. With your cell phone to listen to my classes or listen to me live or listen to the lectures on the internet and read Quran and all of that. So that's what you're doing. You're spending your time not socializing, not having a pajama party. You're spending it in actions of worship, praying, reading, stuff like that. And say, for example, your wife drops you off at the mosque for your itikaf. You can leave your place of seclusion to say farewell to your wife, because that's what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would do. Your wife can visit you when you're in itikaf. You just can't have sexual relations. Your wife can comb your hair, cut your hair, clip your nails. And also, you brothers and sisters can take showers when you're in itikaf. Your mosque should have the proper accommodations where you can go and take a shower. You can wear nice clothes. For men, you can wear perfume. And for men, not women. Women cannot wear perfume in the mosque. Any woman that wears perfume in the mosque has the curse of Allah on her. And none of her prayers are accepted. Aisha radiallahu anha tells us that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was doing itikaf. He would stick his head out through the opening to her room, and she would wash his hair for him or comb his hair for him, even when she was on her period. So that shows that a woman on her menses, just like a woman on her menses does not break your prayer, whether she walk in front of you or not. A woman on her menses does not break your wudu if you touch her. She does not break your itikaf either. So I want you brothers to pay attention to that. That's why I put this hadith there too, because another brother said that he was told that a woman can break your itikaf. That's not true, unless you're having sexual relations with her. And this is the dalil. I put all the dalil here. Okay. Also, I want you to remember, if you leave the mosque to answer the call of nature, that's okay. Say, for example, you have the water toilet is what they have. They said in Canada. Some places in Canada is so cold they got outhouses. So if you're at the mosque and you leave the mosque to go answer the call of nature, that's okay. That's okay. Aisha tells us that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he performed itikaf, he would bring his head close to her so she could comb it. He would not enter the house except to fulfill the personal needs a person has, which is to answer the call of nature. Okay. So if, for example, some places in Canada, they have outhouses because it's too cold there. The pipes will freeze up. If you're doing itikaf, you can leave to go answer the call of nature. And that doesn't break your itikaf. But to leave and go to work would. To leave and go to work would. So you can only leave your seclusion, for reasons like answering the call of nature. Okay? Or having your wife comb your hair or something like that. And again, when you're doing itikaf, you eat, sleep, drink in the mosque, and you also keep the mosque clean, because remember, the mosque are the houses of Allah. And now I'm getting ready to bring my dalil to knock these brothers out with this. Itikaf is not restricted to men only. Women can do it also, but it must be in the mosque. Where's the dalil? Here we go. Allah says in the Quran, in the interpretation of the meaning, do not have sexual relations with your wives while you are in itikaf in the mosque. Allah specifies it in the Quran that it has to be in the mosque. That's Surah Baqarah. Also, the wives of the Prophet asked him for permission to do itikaf in the mosque, and he gave it to them. And they continued to do itikaf in the mosque after he died. They did not do it in their houses. If it were permissible for a woman to do itikaf in her house, the Prophet would have told them, no, stay in your house and do it. Because we all know it's better for a woman to practice her religion in her home than at the mosque. But when the wives of the Prophet asked for permission to do it, he said yes in the mosque. He didn't tell them at home. And by the way, every wife of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, had their own praying niche. We talked about that when I did the harems of Islam. They had one room for cooking, one room for sleeping, and another room for where they would do their prayers. If a woman could do itikaf at home, in her own praying niche, the Prophet would have told his wives, stay in your houses and do it. But no, he allowed them to come and told them in the mosque. And also, here's my big dalil. Here's my big dalil for those of you who may want to twist the words of the Quran around. We have to look to see what understanding the companions had. After the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam died, Ibn Abbas became the governor. He was the governor, appointed as the governor over Medina. Ibn Abbas was asked about a woman who made an oath. This woman swore that she would do itikaf in the mosque of her house. In other words, in the praying room of her house. Ibn Abbas said, subhanallah, this is an innovation. This is one of the most hateful actions to Allah to do. And that's when Ibn Abbas said, itikaf is only at the mosque. So there's your dalil. Y'all better learn these hadiths, brothers. Learn these hadiths. You got to learn the hadith. The hadiths are the explanation of the Quran. None of the female companions, none of them did itikaf in their homes. Not Hani, not Mani, not Atika. Remember, we talked about, okay? Subhanallah. So, Allah is clear in this verse. Itikaf is in the mosque. The Prophet Muhammad was clear. He told his wives, yes, you can go to the mosque for itikaf. He never told them to stay in their houses. None of the female companions did itikaf in their homes. Does everybody understand that? So there's your dalil. We have to learn the hadiths, brothers. Just because you memorized how to sing the Quran, that's not enough. Like the Prophet Muhammad said, you'll never understand the verses of the Quran until you learn what I said about them. The hadiths are the explanation. And also, guys, Aisha, she let the women know as the women converted to Islam and they were sent, delegations of them came to her seeking to learn the truth. She would tell them, itikaf at the mosque. That was the practice of all the companions, not the home. So where the home comes from, I don't know. It's not from the Sunnah. Maybe it's some Sufism. I don't know. Y'all know I don't get off into those sets and groups. All I ever learned was the Sunnah. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Alhamdulillah. And that's all there is. There's no other rules about itikaf. It's just that simple. So if you sisters want to do it, you can do it for a couple of hours, or you can do it for one day or whatever. Okay. I strongly encourage the brothers to do it and take the little boys. If your sons are 7 years or older, teach them itikaf. And when you're there, you're spending your time reading the Quran, doing voluntary prayers, making supplications, all of that. It's no playing, no pajama party, or none of that. Okay, any questions?